Hey guys, what's up? It's iFlynn here, and today I wanted to take the time to talk about my experience with Operation Scarlet Spear. Without a doubt, I can say that this is the worst update or event that DE have ever released into their game. From the minute I started to play Operation Scarlet Spear, I was met with difficulty after difficulty after difficulty. The first update, there was a bunch of crashing. I crashed a total of 6 times before I said screw it. Stopped playing. They released a hotfix. I came back. Then after that hotfix, I experienced issues where I was getting progression stopping bugs and UI bugs, which were forcing me to extract and then go back into the Scarlet Spear relay. There's about 50-50 chance on that Scarlet Spear relay bugging out or your lobby bugging out or something along those lines. Again, I stopped playing it, came back today, and I was met with even more bugs, which were just stopping my progression. It hasn't been a good time for me, and thankfully it's over for me now. Like, I've got all the rewards from the operation because I was rewarded with credits equivalent to this here little score that I've got here. So I've received 24,975 credits from DE because of a script that they run. So I was able to get everything else that I needed. I got the clan sigil, I got both the weapons, and I got the simulacrum. That's all that I wanted from the little duck vendor right now. They are going to be adding more arcanes into the vendor at a later date whenever they fix all the bugs and, you know, make sure that there's no exploits or anything like that there. But honestly, I would rather farm Eidolons any day of the week over set foot in Operation Scarlet Spear again, because honestly, in my opinion, it's not a good event. It's similar to Plague Star in the sense that it's a very boring mission, and the only reason that you would invest into it is for the rewards, because it's not fun to play. Like, people are saying that they enjoy the grind mission over the Railjack mission. I think that the Railjack mission is a lot more fun than the grind mission because you get to play around on the new tile set, you get to fight off all the sentient enemies, you get to fight off the Grenier enemies, you get to fly around in Railjack. I'm not the biggest fan of Railjack because I'm just not that big into spaceship combat and stuff like that, but even I have to admit that I find that far more engaging than running around on Earth with like a Corrosive Lanka or the Kuva Brahma, a Buffing Frame, or a Zal with Exodia Contagion or anything like that there, and then just shooting at this big enemy that's sitting still only for sentient and Grenier enemies to spawn in and then start shooting you. I think that is the most boring thing in the world, and they could have done a better job with this event and make it far more engaging. And that's really all there is to say about it. Like, I was super disappointed with this event because it's just not engaging. You know, like, we were hinted at the fact that it was going to be 8 players. Realistically, it's not 8 players. It's just, you know, 8 players are connected with one another, and one set of players can't progress without the other set of players doing something, right? So if you're playing the Railjack missions, you can't progress and do the thing that you need to do without someone playing the grind missions, and it's all connected through these Scarlet Spear relays. So if we go ahead and we go to a Scarlet Spear relay, gotta put myself on invite only so no one joins. We go to Earth, we go to Scarlet Spear. You choose one of these relays, and you usually want to choose the one that has the lowest amount of Murex driven away, because the more Murex you drive away, then the more credits you're going to get whenever the Murex are driven away and the timer runs out. So these Scarlet Spear relays are up for a total of 3 hours, and you have that 3-hour session to drive away 100 Murex to get your tier 3 badge. And then whenever you get your tier 3 badge, you have to wait for this relay to basically run out, like the timer here, they run out before you get your credits, right? And what happened to me is I drove away 100 Murex. It had an hour left, so I went into another relay to do the entire process again. But then because I did that, I didn't get rewarded with the 10,000 credits that I was owed. And I basically just missed out because for some reason, joining another relay to avoid this time gate resets your progress, which sucks ass. Then after that, you know, I did what I could do on this next relay. And then I tried to join other relays, but I couldn't join any other relay because it kept on bugging, or because all of the other relays were 100 out of 100 and they were done. So once that thing hits 100 out of 100, you can't use that relay anymore to play the event, and you have to go to another relay to continue it, right? So In the EU servers, I couldn't find any, so I had to swap mine up to EU and Russia, which is a separate server. So there's West Europe and then there's North Europe. Whenever you swap to the Russian servers, you're swapping to North Europe. I'm pretty sure that's the right way around. But yeah, I basically had to swap servers, and I found a server in the Russian servers, which I can go on to. But because it was in the Russian servers, there was basically nobody playing it because all the Russians seemed to move over to the other European servers. So there's no one playing it, so that means I couldn't progress without getting people in from my stream to swap servers as well, to jump in, to do the grind missions and all that there type of stuff. So, you know, I've been trying to find my way around the bugs and basically the things that have been holding me back within this event, but it hasn't been a good experience. And like all of that for a new weapon and a reskin Lacera, in my opinion, not worth it. You've got a new Simulacrum as well, but like, I'm not spending a lot of my time in the Simulacrum whenever I'm properly playing the game, right? The only reason that I'm using the Simulacrum a lot is because I'm a Warframe YouTuber or Twitch streamer, because I'm demonstrating things to people, because I'm testing things out for the sake of videos and stuff like that. So if I was your average player, the Simulacrum would be the last thing to get on my to-get list, right? My eyes would be going more towards the Seti Lacera and the Basmu. The Basmu is an alright weapon. It's not great. It's primarily status. It's got a health leech gimmick on it as well, which is kind of cool. You got to spend 15,000 Scarlet credits on that. That's easy enough to come by, implying you do get your rewards whenever you invest time into the event, or into the event. And then you've got the Seti Lacera, and that's just a reskin version of the Lacera, which has higher stats. Lacera isn't that great of a weapon. With these higher stats, it's a little bit better, but of course there are better weapons out there. So it's really down to you whether or not you want to put yourself through the torture of this event. I'm not too sure what bugs they have fixed now, because like I said, a patch just came out before I made this video. But like, if my experience is anything to go off of, this event hasn't been good, and honestly, they should have just delayed it before putting it out. Like, in terms of just player engagement and enjoyment, the grind mission is rather boring, because it's just shooting a target that sits still and then using, you know, defensive frames like Frost or Limbo to keep the Grenier and sentient enemies away. And then the Railjack mission, you move a satellite in front of the ship, park your ship inside the big sentient ship, get out of your ship, go into the big sentient ship, put down your oplinks, and then use your defensive frame again. So it's a glorified mobile defense or glorified excavation, whatever you want to call it. It's just really, really boring. And there's also a cap on it. So it's not endless like they said in the dev streams or wherever they said that at. So pretty let down. They could have done a better job. They could have made it more engaging. They could have, you know, done a lot of things with it. But at this point, it's coulda, shoulda, woulda. Like, it's just been such a bad experience for me. I can't stress that enough. On top of that, like I said, all these arcanes here, these are arcanes that you get pretty commonly just from doing Eidolon runs. So, you know, until they add in the likes of Grace and Energize and stuff like that, like, I'm not going to bat an eye at this event again until they add those arcanes in. And even then, I'm going to be hard pressed to jump into the event simply because I prefer Eidolons. I think Eidolons are much more engaging and interesting to play because, you know, it requires a little bit of interaction between you and your team. Like, this is like artificial interaction where it's just, you know, two squads are in the same instance. One squad has to do one thing, another squad has to do another thing, and both of these things are really, really brain dead easy. So it's not as if it's giving you more of a reason to co-op. The only reason that there is the co-op is because you can put down more than one uplink, and having down more than one uplink speeds up the progress 25% a time. So 4 times 25 is 100%. You're operating at 100% speed or 100% efficiency, whatever you want to call it, in either of the missions. So theoretically, you could solo both of the missions. You're just going to be going at 25% of the speed opposed to the 100%, right? So I don't know, man. Like, it's an event that should have stayed in the oven longer and probably could have had a lot more thought put into it. I don't like this whole, like, what do you call this? I forget what this place is called again. Relay instancing thing, where it's the relay that is connecting all of the players together. I think that's, I don't know, like, it's just passing the kill code from one spot to another. It's not engaging the 8 players in any way, shape, or form or anything like that. It's just not an engaging or fun game mode. They didn't do a good job of it, at least in my opinion. They could have put a lot more thought and effort into what it is. Like, they could have, like, made it so that, you know, one team completes an objective and then another team has to go do another objective for then the other team to go and do another objective and sort of like pass it around that way. But it's not really like that at all. It's like ground team, you go do your thing, and then Railjack team, you go do your thing. And as long as the ground team is doing their thing, well, the Railjack team can do their thing and get the points that they need. I don't see the point in time gating it either. I don't see the point in making it so that this timer has to run out before you can get your reward. I don't see the point in putting a cap on the amount of Murex that you can drive away. They could have easily made it so that as long as there's people in the community doing the ground thing, then there is people in the community who could do the Railjack stuff, and they didn't have to like incorporate uplink or squad link or whatever they want to call it into this event, and then just allow players the choice to do whatever it is that they want to do. They could have like locked the reward behind the ground mission, and they could have locked the reward behind the Railjack mission, and that way there would be an equal amount of players doing either of the missions to get the things that they want, right? So they could have put the Lacera behind the ground, and they could have put the Basmu behind the Railjack missions, and in that way, you know, you'd have an equal split between the community doing an equal amount of those missions, and you would have to completely scrap, or you wouldn't even need that uplink thing, right? Like this entire event could exist on its own without uplink. It's kind of like a gimmick. It's just giving you that full sense of like the two teams are doing something together whenever they could have just made it community wide, you know, instead of like limiting it to these stupid relays, right? It's just, I don't know, it's dumb. I don't understand it whatsoever, and that's my honest opinion on it. Like, it could have been way better. It could have been a lot more less stressful. It could have worked better if they just scrapped the whole uplink thing and then, you know, I don't know, made a proper working game mode, I guess you could say. But yeah, it's left a sour taste in my mouth, and like the uplink thing, I don't know, man. Just bring in 8-player missions. Honestly, like this is just a gimmick. This is just so stupid. Honestly, it doesn't make me feel more engaged or more involved in the community at all. There's no like coordinating it. It defeats the entire purpose. Like, you can't coordinate 2 squads together. What's the point? What's the actual point? I know that like you're rarely gonna find friend groups that are off 8 people, and it doesn't make sense. And raids probably aren't the most widely wanted content in the world, or widely desired content, because, you know, that's just how people like to play their games. They like playing solo nowadays. But like, I don't know, like whenever they talked about 8 players, it sounded cool. It sounded cool whenever they talk about 8 players, but then this comes out and it's just like, I don't know, you didn't need this. You didn't need to have the uplink thing. You didn't need to make it so that players were limited to operating within this relay session, right? Like, they could have made it just community wide and make it so as long as people are doing the grind mission, people can do the Railjack mission, and put a reward or an incentive behind both of the missions. That way you'll have an equal amount of players doing both of them to get the rewards that they want, and then call it a day. And then this entire event probably would have been far less buggy if they hadn't went down that there, right? Because as it stands right now, the crashing, the bugs, the progression stopping bugs, just how boring the 2 missions are in general, I never want to play this event again. I really mean that. I really do not want to play this event again, because it's just been so stressful. It's just been so annoying, and it doesn't really respect my investment as a player or respect my time as a player either. I've got 16,000 Scarlet credits saved up right now. Hopefully that's enough if they add in Arcane Energize and Arcane Grace to just get a full set or whatever. It probably won't be, but it'll get me a decent amount, and then I can just buy the rest off other players, because chances are if they add Arcane Energize and Arcane Grace in here at a low price, like the low credit cost, then somebody out there is going to farm up a bunch of them and just sell them off for platinum, and I would happily cash over the platinum to that player just to save me from playing this game mode. It is that bad. But yeah, I don't like making videos like this, but I don't know. I think that this was a waste of development time, honestly. This is not a fun event. I don't recommend investing into it unless you really want the Basmu and you really want the Lacera. Like, if you're a hardcore Warframe player and you need that MR, by all means, put yourself through the torture of playing this event. Just know that there may be bugs, there may be progression stopping bugs, and again, yeah, it just sucks. It's really boring. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead, hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button. I can't speak anymore. Subscribe for more Warframe content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.